Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is now Monday. Thank goodness it's Monday. So it's TGIM. We're always happy that when we have, each day comes and goes, and we're here with it still. So it's always nice for us. So let's take a look and see. There is on J4X. You can see we have a little downturn there. It shows the red hinky ASCII bar on the dollar index, and let's see what the two stochastics are looking like. See if we can figure this out now. Where'd that go? Right there, right there. One more time, right there. There you go. So the fast is trading at the 66.7 area, and the slow is trading at 76. So it's above it now, and so that pressure is coming on. You can see over here on the beta. There's a little pressure on that, but we still got a green dot going on, and you can see our bars are still plus. And the weekly is in a weekly again for another week. Let's take it over to the other platform. We look at all three platforms here. So we're always taking a look, making sure everything is matching up correctly, or we understand why the bait is not doing this, that, or the other thing. And so let's take a look at that. There's wonderful news today in all kinds of financial directions and political directions. Very fascinating. Markets, the equity markets are looking firmer and firmer, and that's mainly, I would assume, because of, Mr. Trump's coming back, and that's the biggie. Hey, Robin, now I'm up on the beta. You have a market-related question, you just ask here, as Robin says. Just ask, and one of the two of us will figure it out. That's for sure. And I have the beta up. Looks like it's running fine. You can see it on the screen there. There's the dollar index. Let's take a look at the gold. The gold was trying to perk up a little bit this morning, I noticed. Yeah, there it is right there, too. It's trying to get a little lift going on right there, and you can see that right there. Then silver, not exactly joining in with the reindeer games, Look at that right there. That's getting pushed down. So that's not caring about it. And you can see we've been in a daily sell for a bunch of days now. And the weekly's on a second week. So that's curious. Well, when we go over to the South African Rand, we'll take a peek at that and take that apart. So how do we start this day? What is the most important thing that we saw, to the financial markets? And I think the most important thing was on Sky News at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, or 3:15 yesterday. That is, Governor DeSantis has backed Mr. Trump. So now it's basically clear sailing. We don't really believe we're going to see, anything particular from, Mrs. What's her name? Nikki Haley. Mrs. Haley. I don't, she's up. What do we got there? There we got some Academy. Hey, Academy, how you doing? Check out cable. Let's see what the cable is. I saw it looks, cable is our second strongest pairs trade now for the last couple months. It's been acting very well. Let's go over and take a look at that. Right there. Yeah, see, it's the second day in the buy right there. We've been in a weekly buy since back in here. Oh, you can't see that. Let's go back over to there again. There we are. You can see right here, the weekly buy's been, we've been in a weekly buy since back in here. So we've seen that move. It justified itself. And then we've gone into the daily buy. Let's steal this little green line right there and move it over. Did that do it? No, that didn't do it. Let's try it again. And so we went into the buy on Friday. And it's firmer again today, matching up with the weekly buy. I was really, I've been impressed of the strength in the cable. It's been the second most, as far as I can tell, percentage-wise. It's the second most, I want to call it dynamic or strong. In other words, participating right. You ever have that problem? I've had it over the years at times where you buy something, you expect it to go up, and it just doesn't go up as fast as you expected it to go up. And, it's not participating. It happens when you do pair trades in stocks. I don't do pairs trades that much anymore in stocks, but back in the old days, 30, 40 years ago, I was an active pairs trader. And so in the currencies, the currencies do what they do. Now you can see that this in the Swiss franc has been very solid, gaining the most out of the three currencies pairs, out of Swiss, cable, and euro. When the dollar index goes into a sell, the Swiss gains the most. When the euro goes in, when the dollar index goes into a buy, the Swiss loses the least, and it usually doesn't do too bad. Check the GBP cable. GBP dollar. Yeah, I've got it up there now. That's what you're talking about, right? The pairs trade. It's all the same to me. The capitals are not. You don't have to worry. So what are you thinking about it? What's caught your eye there? Maybe the strength that the way it I guess you could say this plateau thing going on, right in here. This big plateau that's been going on since the beginning of December, where it came up to that point, stopped, and seems to have, it's making higher lows. I think we talked about. Did we talk about this? I think we did that on last week. We were talking about, which one was it? Where is it at? It had a little pink circle. Where was it? Or a white circle. Basically what you're seeing is, see this low. Let's see, where's the cable at? That's the euro. Let's go back to the cable. You can see here, this low here, higher than this low here, or even this low right there, higher than this low here, higher than this one. It's been higher highs and higher lows. And even now, it's being a real ornery. It's really fighting to stay in that rhythm. So, is that what you're catching? Is that what you're seeing there? You're looking at those highs and lows, or are you looking at the plateau that seems to, like the sideways envelope that's developed? What are you thinking, Academy? Do you see anything particular that's catching your eye? We'll give you a chance to respond back to that. Yeah, so, I find the cable looking, pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. It's had a nice run on the weekly buy. It went into that weekly buy down in here in the 121 area. And it's gotten as high as 128, bounced around on it. Matter of fact, are you looking at the three tops possibly right there? That's kind of pretty obvious. Matter of fact, it even has a little head and shoulders thing going on. And, I guess if they don't break the shoulders on the downside, or I guess right there, then maybe they're going to break the upside. I'm not a super bull on the dollar. I'm never really a super bull on the dollar. I think it's overpriced. And so you would think that the cable would find a way to go a little bit higher. But we are at the high end of the range. Do you see that? Is that what you're thinking maybe? I'm just curious of what you're thinking about the cable. I can keep on throwing ideas out there. Let me think. What else could we say about the cable? I was reading something financially about Britain recently in the last couple of weeks. And one of the things I saw was fascinating is that they're always pretty aggressive, to raise their spending and things. So it's been kind of impressive. Like they're the second largest contributor to NATO. Things like that. They're always finding a few more dollars, or in this case pounds or sterling, to push into the marketplace. Their prime minister is, he's not the most capitalist fellow, I can say that, but at least he is capitalist on some level. Labor is having a hard time, as much as they want to bounce Tories out, it seems like the Tories are just further off course than as much as the Tories are off course, Labor seems to be even further off course. So, as much as people want to not vote Tory, they realize that if they go and vote, they've learned their lesson in a lot of ways. They've learned their lesson in the fact that you keep on voting for these socialists, they sooner or later run out of other people's money. And so maybe that's been kind of an interesting thing. It's been outperforming. Until recently, it was outperforming the Swiss and the euro. But these last month and a half, the Swiss has really kicked in and gained some, real strength out of it all. So, well, Academy, if we've satisfied you, I like that. Jesse 4X Academy. That's cool. If you have any questions, just give us a yell. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? So, I know what it was. I was talking about what was the news over the last, couple of days that's very positive for the equity market. And that is that, Mr. Trump has now lost two competing candidates against him, and they've both, have announced that they're supporting Mr. Trump. And so, that's a positive for the capitalist system. Free markets, free people. All the positives of a growing economy and making life better for individuals. So that's the big thing we've been seeing, and you can see that the stock market itself has been pushing, trying to push into that positive area, and so far, it's looking all right. You see. The Dow Jones Industrial Average made all-time highs. Now we have the S&P 500 making all-time highs, and the only thing left is the what do you call it? The Tech 100. Now, when Mr. Trump left office, basically, after he, Mr. Biden won the election, basically the stock market was at all-time highs, and so, over Mr. Biden's 3-year period, the best he could do is, get the markets back to where they were when he took over. So that's not exactly a pretty story. And matter of fact, when he took over and actually was sworn in January of 2021, the economy was growing at 6.2%, 6.2 GDP. So, and now we're growing, I don't know, one and a quarter, 1.5, 2.25, something like that. So, it's, and we had 1.41 inflation. Now we have a little better than 4% inflation. So, that's why, people are voting for Mr. Trump. They remember how good it was when he was president, and whatever frustration they had with him, they're willing to surrender that frustration for a better economy and more money in the pocket and less government interference. So that seems to be the gist of it all, or that's where the rhythm is going. And the young people are moving away from Mr. Biden and his party, and they feel like they've been basically hoodwinked. They've been treated poorly, and that's pretty much the name of the game there. All right, so, the volume just kicked up. Yep, there we are. So, okay, from there, we'll jump over to, we'll leave the dollar index, and you can see, what else can we say about the dollar index before we leave it? Let's take one last look at the dollar index, and right there is the dollar index. And you can see, we went into the weekly buy last week. I'm not expecting a lot out of it. I would be stunned to imagine us get over to 106.5, 7 area. But more than that is, I really think it'll stall out around this area in here. Just like right there. It does have a reverse head and shoulders going on at the moment. And I think they'll play with this for a while and we'll go sideways. But the elections have consequences. And in this particular moment, right now, the markets are looking firmer and firmer as Mr. Trump, basically is basically going to be confirmed that he will be the candidate just after tomorrow. The New Hampshire election, he'll win that, especially with Mr. DeSantis, Governor DeSantis leaving the race. So that's almost a foregone conclusion. And then I guess he goes to something like Las Vegas. He has a couple more elections, and then he goes to South Carolina, where Mrs. Haley is, and she's polling about 25% below Mr. Trump. So I don't see her changing the course. They know her. They know what she did as governor, so they're not exactly happy with her. If you can't win your own state, you can't even poll in your own state where you grew up. Who had that problem was Al Gore. Al Gore couldn't win his own state. He could not win Tennessee. He lost it. If he'd just won his own state, he would have been president over George Bush first time around. But he couldn't even win his own state. So, all right. So from there, from there, we go over to, where do we head now? Now we'll go take a look at the euro. And there's the euro. You see that? It's trying to lift back up. It also closed in a daily buy right there, but did it close in the weekly sell? I know we were very close. Yes, so it closed in the weekly sell last week. See how long that lasts. Could this be just a one week noise? Will there be more follow through? Only the markets know and our mathematics. So right now we are in a weekly sell and we are in a daily buy. So the system has us in that neutral stance at the moment. So we'll see if we get into a sell. And you can see there the weekly is pressing down a little bit more than what it was doing on Friday, of course. And we're not really seeing anything particular there, but that, European Union is the second largest economy in the world. So, the United States is number one, European Union is number two, and then it bounces around between Japan and Japan seems to be number three. Then you have China, which is bouncing between 4 and 5, and then Britain and Germany, then Britain, and so forth. But it's hard to say. But one thing's for sure is that they are exporting. China is exporting deflation, which is nice. In other words, they're fire selling things. They're just selling it just to get money, get cash. Show me the money. Get me the money, GTM. Get me the money, and they have a hard time. They can be invested billions of dollars into their projects over there, and they can't even find like 10 or 20 or 30 million dollars. So they are really tied up, and they're selling anything and everything as cheap as they can just to get it out the door to get some cash in. They're having a fire sale, basically. China's having a fire sale, and they only accept dollars, it seems like. You convert your yuan or your dollar into yuan, which is fixed to the dollar, so you're buying a fixed dollar, something like that. In other words, the yuan is fixed to the dollar, so you're basically buying dollars, or buying with dollars, or gold at times. So, what else can we say about the euro? I guess that's about it. The second largest economy is stumbling around, but it's got that same look, where it makes higher lows, and it makes now we've had, you have it here. You see that where that took that low there, took that low out, and that high is lower than that high. So we are on some type of, I guess you could say, downwardly trend. We've just slipped into a weekly sell, and the only thing stopping us to be short is this daily buy at this moment. All right, from there, we go over to the great British pound again, just to give a, hey, how you doing? It's looking much stronger. Didn't challenge the sell. That's cool. The manifold is tightening up. That's the two yellow lines there that are mirror image. They're standard deviations of our mathematics. And you can see they're getting tighter, but overall the cable, let's put the cable up on J4X. Let's see, right there. There it is, right there, cable. It's got 3 green hinky ASCII bars going. We have 3 green dots with a red dot going back few days ago, and so it's showing life and strength, and so forth and so on. It's in the end result is that the cable looks just fine. It doesn't seem to want to give up much, and it's because it's like in that odd situation of being like a channel and a envelope at the same time, and they're kind of trapped on the not the all-time highs, but just the highs for the last month and a half. So there's no sign of real weakness there yet. Let's put it that way, like the euro compared to the euro. Now let's go over to our favorite one, and it's broken a little bit, but nothing major. You can see we this week we are climbing into the weekly buy right there. Right now we're flirting with it. we'll see how well that goes. And it's joining in with that. There it is right there. Let's double check last week's was a minus still. So it's just flirting, and it's gone from the 83-ish and a half area up to the 86 and three-quarter area. That's a nice little pop going on there. It's showing more weakness than we've seen in a long while. We've been seeing a lot of gain out of it. Maybe that 83.33 low back here at the end of the year was more of some type of tax situation. And so all that strength that came into the Swiss that we kept on identifying for over a month, panned out in the sense that it did read the action. And since we were at the end of the year, and that's the end of the tax year there, that has influence on decision making. And so they're not buying because they think that it's growing better than another country or anything like that. They're buying it or selling it because of tax situations where they need to adjust. All right. Let's see now. There we are. Now from there, we go over to the yen. See what they're doing with the yen. It's been lifting up of late. A little pressure there today. It's actually underneath the zero line right there. We're actually flirting with a sell. There it goes here. You can see it closed in the weekly buy last week. Let's move that. Oh, that's where it went into the weekly buy that day last week. There you go. Remove that. So last week it closed in the buy really quick. As a matter of fact, I think it was like the second day of the week. I think it was climbing into the weekly buy. It was showing strength. The LDP part, is it Liberal Democrat Party, which has been running the country forever, seems to be removing people. The finance minister has been removed. 5 ministers of different departments have been removed. The party itself has been punished and fined. There's some money laundering game going on with the LDP, and so not counting the fact that the Bank of Japan got a new manager about a year ago. So that seemed to start it all. And then what seemed to complete it and made the currency move back down from the 152 area, which is like a 35-year high, up in here. Let's get that mouse up in here. And let's put that up on the screen too. Right there. And so that high there was like a 35-year high. We have the stock market moving towards a 35-year high. So the currency is losing against the dollar. And money is running to the stocks. I guess because they're cheaper. That kind of makes sense to me. That's usually the way it works. So, what else can we say about the yen? Just that it seems to be, I thought when it fell back from the 152 down to the 140, I thought maybe that was going to be a sign that they were going to get their act together. And, it went into that weekly sell here this week, right there. And, it was a nice slide from the 148 area all the way down to the 140 area. But we're turning really quick and surprisingly. The whole month of December, I guess it's January. At the beginning, it turned at the beginning of January. It turned on a daily buy right here, and it climbed nicely from the 42ish area, or 42ish area, up to the 48 area. But the weekly tried. You can see that there. The fast joined in here, halfway through, or I guess the beginning of the month, and it did. Both of them marched nicely up. And now, today we're flirting with a daily sell. We'll see how that plays out. And you can see this right here. The weekly is on the second week. This currency in particular, it's a very active economy. And, it's a relatively, I want to say it's relatively smart. let's put it this way: when they loan money, they pay interest on it in the private sector. When they have major payments, they pay them. It's not like their neighbor in China where they default on the smallest payments on the biggest debt, which is amazing. You have $11 billion from private or public investors, whatever kind of investors you want to call them, and they can't find $15 or $20 million to pay the interest payment. That's a big difference between 15 million and 11 billion. But that's the way China rolls. So it's hard to respect the economic system like that. But you see here, Japan, on the other hand, seems to at least have some interesting cross currents. They're doing their best to, in this case here, you can see they're trying to, they're buying dollars. And at the same time, let's put it up on beta. Let's show you the Nikkei. Let's see, where's the Nikkei? There's a Nikkei right there. I'll show you to you right there. You can see it's been a daily buy for weeks upon weeks there. And you see it climbed from the 33,000 area with that daily buy right there. It just kept on climbing, and now it's up around the 37 area, 36 and 3/4. It's moved over 3,000 points up, almost 4,000 points. And at the same time, we've been in a weekly buy for a good 4 weeks. So it's been a very impressive move. And again, their economy is a better economy than most of the economies around it. I have to stop myself and say, and they have an enormous amount of debt, but not as bad as China, but they have a lot of debt, and worse than Greece. So you can relate to it on some level there. The amount of debt they have is worse than Greece, but not as bad as China. Whew. So either way, it's a tough neighborhood to be in. So there's the yen. Now from the yen, we go over to the great experiment. As I sip my coffee there. And let's put that up on the screen. And there is the great experiment, the Turkish lira. It's in a daily buy for 1 day, going on a second day today. It's been in that weekly buy like 18 or 19 weeks. Let's go see right back here. You can see it's been in that weekly buy since the mid-September. It's been in that weekly buy from the 28.5 area, and we've traded it up to the 33, almost 33.5 area. Let's put it this way: we're real happy to see it only gain 3 or 4 handles compared to some of the moves we've seen in this poor product. There's no doubt that the Turkish lira is under a great experimental process, and so far from going from 1 to 33 has definitely been painful for the indigenous people of that country. Okay, now from there, where do we go from there? We go over to the South African rand. This way we take a peek at what the metals have been doing. So here is the South African rand. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. And is my chat line working? I just a little surprised Academy didn't come back. Let's see. I'm just double checking the sound. Yep. The sound is working. But Robin, say hi on the chat line, because I'm just curious why we didn't see anything back from Jesse Forex Academy. All right. Yeah. So we look at the metals market when we go and look at the South African rand. In this case here, there's the South African rand. You can see it's finding more highs again, taking out this high right here and challenging this high right there. So we would assume the metals complex is going down, 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 down. So let's take a look at. There's silver. You can see silver is definitely finding a way to go down more, and it's been in weekly sell just for a second week, really. It went in there at the beginning of the week last week, and it's not exactly collapsed or anything, but it's just pressing down. Now, obviously, gold is a lot more firmer. You see they're playing around with the daily buy, but it also closed in a weekly sell. So we take a lot. Oh, good. Just making sure. High, high, high. I just was surprised that Academy didn't respond back. So gold, is it's obviously on a downwardly slope. It's fallen from the 2100 area down to the 2025-ish area. I think we almost touched the 2000 area there about 4 days ago, right here. And we're sliding into the weekly sell. So we're seeing this pressure. It's in that daily sell from all the way back in here. So, from the 20,000 or 2080 area, we're in the daily sell, and it's like almost the whole month of January. We still have more to go. We have what's today? Today's the 22nd, so we have 9 more days. Something like 7 trading days. So the gold itself is showing. They're not really hungry to sell it, but they're definitely not hungry to buy it. So it's trapped in a sideways malaise, basically. All right, from there we'll go to. Let's save that too. Gold, 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 gold. Like that. And let's save the silver too. And silver, really, even more pressure on it. And there we go. That's silver. There's the copper. Copper's lifted up the last couple of days. It's interesting. It's just flirting with the daily sell as we speak. Not sure if it's going to survive that, but it's been in a weekly sell for 4 weeks down in here. Let's put that there and change the color. And you can see, look at that pressure. Not the worst. I mean, you're only talking 20, 30 cents. It's not getting clocked, getting beaten down hard or anything like that. It's just that, with China in its predicaments, it's hard for it to lift. That we've seen the $5 copper. When the economy is rolling really strong over there right now. They're now, thank goodness, in many ways they are exporting the deflation, which is nice. We want deflation. So, they're selling anything and everything for whatever price they can get at this point in China. Talk about a desperate financial system. Woof. Woof. All right. So that's the copper. And let's save that copper. And then we go to the last one, and that is the platinum. There it is right there. And you see they're flirting with that daily sell again. Now, something's wrong there. What is that, the 21st too? Yeah, 21st. So let's put this in there like that. There we are. We've been in our sell for 2 weeks, heading for a third now. And you can see here that is that's Friday. So now we have to just reinsert Monday. Yep, right there. You can see it's holding up firm at the moment in a buy. We say this over and over. It has fallen from the 10,025 area down to the 1,025 area, down to the 875 area. and right now we're seeing it hover on that 900. And without a doubt, the pairs trades have been trading this electronic market for a long while now and beating it up. And we see platinum trading over 50% lower than gold, and that's just it's been unseen for decades and decades and decades. We've been always a premium platinum over gold, but at this point, it's not letting go, and platinum is starting to build a stronger base. It seems like to me. I have a hard time imagining it going much lower. I mean, gold is going to have to drop down into the 17s and 16s to really put pressure on the platinum. And even then, who knows? Now that Mr. Trump looks like he's going to be the nominee with no problem and probably win the election, then it's going to start going back to some type of norm again. It's been a very, very strange 14 years, is it now? Let's see, quantitative easing started at the beginning of Mr. Obama in 2008 at the end of the year there. So, we're talking about we're in 2024, so it's 16 years. This quantitative easing has been a real odd way of running an economy. We've seen minus interest rates at times, which is very strange in its own right. I mean, think about it. Government bonds, people pay money for the bond, and they pay interest to the government for holding the bond, their currency, their deposits. It used to be people would pay you interest. You buy a bond, and then at the same time, who you bought the bond from, they would pay you interest. This quantitative easing has turned that world upside down. All right. So from there, that completes the platinum adventure, and the gold and the silver and the copper. And we'll just save this one more time, like so. And notice that it's in a very odd situation. You've got a weekly sell and a daily buy. Right there. So, and the interesting thing is that where it went into the weekly sell, it's definitely higher or close to it being higher, or right at the flat line. And now, we've been in a daily buy for a couple days, so it's telling us it has no clear direction whatsoever. And I guess the politics or whatever is freaking it out. The tax season's over with, in the sense that they've basically closed the positions they wanted to close so that they could take the tax advantage. All right, from here we shoot over to the energy sector, and there is the March crude. It's trying to play with a daily sell. It's been in a weekly buy just last week, and it's curving. You can see that. Let's see. It's curving right there. And this action is kind of lackadaisical. No, this is not very. There's not a lot of conviction to it. Not a lot of confidence in it. Oil, natural gas. This is automobile oil. Gasoline. It's trading in the 70s, which is nice. It keeps some prices down. It helps the inflation factor. So the energy sector, and then let's take a look at the Brent over on the beta. There it is right there. Let's put that up on the screen. Robin, did your beta come back up again? And so there's the beta. It's been in a daily buy for about 6 days now. And you can see the weekly on the beta says, and it's flirting with the buy now. This won't confirm what Friday's is until we close today. This has a 1 day lag. We will get that straightened out in the end. This is the Brent. So that pressure's on that. On the upside on a day-to-day basis, but not really going anywhere. That's the problem, is that, compared to the beginning of the month, it's trapped inside a range there. It's not taking out that high, or it's not taking out that high. Not that high. Or this high. It's not taking that one out either. And You know, the market has no decision. It almost looks like a triangle starting to form like that. Let's see if we get that mouse again and do that. So the triangle would be from here to there to there, and then the bottom of the triangle would be here to there to there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It actually looks like a downside triangle. That's what it looks like, one of those WD Gann downside triangles. So I guess they're going to try to take this thing a little bit lower. And since we're flirting with the weekly sell there, it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow we see it on the platform. All right, and then from there we go to the natural gas, right there on the beta, and you see that 5 days in a sell. The weekly is trying to get into the sell right now. You can see the fast is broken down, is below the zero line there, and then over here, let's show you nat gas right there. You know, trading in the United States at $2.38, 238.6, basically a little under 87, $2.37. That's it, $2.37. And over here, right there, same situation. And this is the back month. That was the front month we're showing you on J4X and /beta. That is the February contract still. And this is the March contract. I'll show you that right there. That's the March contract, which is heading for the $2 area. It's trading at $2 and almost 14 cents, a little underneath 14, 2.137. So it's you know, this energy situation has been very confusing. I don't know. I saw the weather yesterday where England got 85 and 90 mile an hour winds. You know, it was very cold and windy and blustery, and you know, and let's see, how is that in kilometers? Isn't that like 135 kilometers an hour? They had 135 kilometer an hour winds. Yeah, that's a big number, 135. So England, I guess, is doing all right. I'll have to tune into Sky News and see what's going on over there, how they fared with that weather, and that's the natural gas. Now, over on J4X, we'll show you the Spanish energy company that we follow, and it's come down from the 28.5 area down into the 26.5 area. I think it is now. It's over $2. Let's see. Let's put it up on the screen. Right there. No, it's down to $25.5 now. So it's fallen $3, which is really nice, and that usually reflects how the energy in Europe is going cost-wise. Now, obviously, there's a higher premium in Brent, you know, compared to you know, West Texas Intermediate. We're in the 73s in West Texas, and in Brent, you can see where's it at? Let's put it up again on there. In Brent, we're looking at $79. So there's like a $5.50 premium between one and the other. They say it's transport cost, but I imagine it's close to it. That's for sure. And that's the energy sector. I saw something today, not just heard, I saw it. They said that it takes 88 tons of coal to generate an egg size of uranium. So you take the size of a chicken egg, and that will generate as much energy as 88 tons of coal. It's a big number. Think about the space itself used. Ugh. All right, from there. Any questions out there, traders? We don't see any questions. I think I'll take a sip of my coffee. Energy. So from there, let's go take a look at the stock markets. That's always fun. We'll take a look at the intraday. And there's the intraday, trading at almost at all-time highs, trading at 4,888. And you can see here the intraday. This is intraday charts. One is I think it's a 16,000 chart, and the other one is a 900 chart. I think that's what it is. Yeah. So 16,000 versus 900. And this is the 16,000 right here, and it's been a buy. Oh, wrong direction. Let's see. I guess it's been in a buy since right here. It's not exactly exploding. What's that? That's 84. So it's going almost, it's going almost nowhere. And it's been trapped like this since the European Open to a great extent. Here is the 900 chart. And we've gone from the European Opens here right there. I guess it is. This is the European Open. Start off around between 85 and 77. And there's the London, Milan / Swiss / Frankfurt / Amsterdam openings, and there's also there's more than that. I'm sure there's the Spanish Open and so forth. Everybody's opening up their exchanges. The French Open, and you can see it's climbed a little bit. Nothing big. It went up and flirted with the 91 area, and it's back to 87.75. Now that's the intraday. Let's take a look at the daily. Matter of fact, we'll do the dailies. Let's see. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 right there. There it is right there. It's been in a weekly buy for months. Back there since November. So there it is in November in the 4,200 area. Now we're in the basically the 4,900 area. It's been that weekly buy all along that whole time. Daily buy a couple days ago at the 4,800 area, and now we're almost at 49. We'll go over to the Tech 100. There. I guess it goes like, where's that sell go? I guess the NQs don't have a sell. They're in a buy. So they've been in a buy since right here. They flirted with a sell, but they've climbed up. It got underneath, but it was a green and a red, so it stayed in the buy. There's the weekly. The fastest, even climbing through the manifold now again. So there's definite buyers coming through the door. They don't want to surrender those stocks. They want to be long, or they feel like they are wrong. And then not last, but we go to the last of the great indexes in the United States, and that is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right there. Try that one more time. Right there. There we go. And that is the Dow playing with the 3,800 area. It's at 38,125. Probably an all-time high as we speak. And same situation with the weekly. It's been in a buy for months, all the way back to the beginning of November, when it was trading in the 33,750 area. And now we're at the 38,000 area. So that's a 4,250 or a 350 gain. Nice gain. Then we head over to the weakest of our stock indices that we pay attention to, and that is the Russell 2000. I think that's it right there. There we go. Now the Russell made a quick charge at the end of the year. And you can see it's dropped from the 2100 area down to the 19 area. And over the last 3 days, it's bounced, or last 4 days, it's bounced off of it here. And we're now at 1966. And we slid into the weekly sell right there. Now that means that speculative money is not that hungry to participate in the marketplace at the moment. So they're not like out bottom fishing and, taking, getting a little bit bigger in positions. This is the Russell 2000. I think it's something like 60% of the stocks in that index have lost money this year. And there's nobody in there, I don't believe, that's over $5 billion in market cap. I think they can be as low as $500 million in market cap, and as high as 5 billion. And then they move it into something like the Russell 3000. So that's why everybody pays attention to the Russell 2000. All right, now let's take a look at now brown cow. Let's take a look at let's start, since we didn't mention the French. Let's show you the French. There it is right there. That's the CAC 40. You can see right there it's slid into a daily sell for a couple days now, and it's been in a weekly sell for 3 weeks, so they're not exactly trying to take out these highs. It looks more like the Russell. From there, we march over to the FTSE. Let's take a look and see what's across the channel. You can see it's climbing into a daily buy again, and it's been 2 weeks in a sell. And then we'll go to the DAX. There's the DAX, and you can see the DAX has been in a buy for about 5 days. It's on the edge of falling into the sell. You see that right there, but it is climbing, but today they are pushing it down. And at the same time, you can see 3 weeks in a weekly sell. There are the three that we follow. This one, I forget what that is. I used to think it was the London Exchange, and it may be some type of FTSE, but we've put the FTSE in. Now let's go over to Japan. We saw the Nikkei right there. Nikkei, flirting with all-time highs again, only a couple thousand points away, which is pretty cool. The 39,000 area, and they're almost at the 37,000. Lots of daily buying, lots of weekly buying. Then we go and take a look at the Kospi. And there's the Kospi. It's been just as weak, as the Russell side of it. You see it's sliding down, fell from the 2660 area down to the 2435 area. It's a big drop, and you can see it's been in a weekly sell pretty much almost all of, well, at least all the. Let's see, there's one. Yeah. I was going to say, so it's been in a weekly sell for something like 16 days. And you can see the weekly, there's 3 weeks. So there's pressure in every direction there. Then, that's the Kospi. Let's take a look at the Hong Kong. Here's the Hong Kong currencies and stock market, not currencies. You see it there. A couple weeks in a sell. There's the daily sell. And, it has collapsed. Starting to look like its parent country, the Shenzhen. Let's take a look at the Chinese market right there. It's been in a really slow, steady grind since late November from the 10,000 area. Now we're at the 8,500. That's about a 15% drop. You can see the last 4 days has been in a sell right here. And you see, it's been in a weekly sell since the beginning of November. It's been in a weekly sell, so that the stock indices are really having their issues outside the United States more than in the United States. Since everybody is pretty much almost back to where they started when Mr. Trump left and Mr. Biden got in. So and now that Mr. Biden looks like he's going to have to deal with Mr. Trump, it obviously shows that. The money is moving towards Mr. Trump, and that's that makes sense because it's the the economy is important. People don't like to pretend the socialism thing that the economy is not important, but it is important because you don't grow, people don't have more opportunities. It just gets worse and worse and more worse. All right, there. So from here, traders, we have to come up with a title. We need to put a title in here today. So we could say it's, markets reflecting. We've been saying this already. And we'll keep on probably saying it. But the markets are reflecting Mr. Trump. We're seeing, the market's getting comfortable with the idea that Mr. Trump may be president again. Now, obviously, when the market in another month and a half starts to do that sell in May and go away thing, I'm not sure how much they'll be selling. I don't know if they have the energy and the desire to be selling. But all I can say is markets are seeing the potential for. Oh, one last thing. The Democrat chairman of the Finance Committee, I think it was the Tax Committee in Senate, wants to extend Mr. Trump's tax cuts from 2018. It had a 6-year lifespan. And so that looks like that's going to happen. They need something to run on. And so the Democrats are talking about doing that. This way they can go around saying, look, we extended the tax cuts for another year. They need to do something to get people to vote for them. Okay. So that is that. We'll put a title into this. I'm not sure what it'll be. I'll have to think about it. If anybody has an opinion, throw it up on the chat line. So, happy trails to you. Until we meet again. Happy trails to you. To all our trading friends. Later, traders. Catch you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. This is Doc from North America saying arrivederci.